hello, welcome. Welcome to the Fairy Playground launch party. I am so glad to have you all here today. I am here with the authors of Fairy Playground and our editor, Patty Harris. Hello, welcome,
Okay,
guys. Welcome.
virtual high five. We did it.
We did.
So I decided that we were going to do things a little different this time. We're going to do a just kind of a nice low key, laid back, non-planned. Seeing how my plans never really worked the way I want them to, this time I didn't make a plan. My plan today is to just hang out and talk to each and every one of you guys and our fans, whoever are watching, about the writing process and about themselves, and then we will go from there.
Yeah, I told one of my friends that we were doing low key this time, and he said there's nothing that we do that's low key. So
This is low key for me.
yes,
I'm low key. Okay, granted, I am wearing a tiara, but I don't wear a tiara normally. This is just normal for me, really. I don't know.
but it tickled me, and he said that nothing we did was low key. I was like, well, we tried.
I didn't wear a Beetlejuice outfit this time, so.
Yeah. We said dressing up was optional, right? That's low key, right?
I'm trying to get Jazzy to join us.
Ruan, can you raise your mic up? Turn your volume up on your mic.
High as it will go. I'm not very loud.
That was good. That was good. I heard you there.
That was good.
Yeah, we hear you now.
I thought that we were doing the derby. That's why you were talking about hats.
Oh.
They're about to run right now, actually, missing it. Anyway.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
You mentioned hats.
Oh, that's awesome. So, how about we go around and introduce ourselves and talk about the story that you have in this thing. You don't have to read the story or anything. Just tell everybody what you wrote and who you are and that sort of thing. Yeah, that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Woo! Tish has to start. Tish has to start because there's a kidder, and the kitty gets some playtime. Hello, kitty.
So,
Hello, kitty.
Jazz, she's actually a part of the dedication in the book for my story. In the other books, there are some characters who are recurring, and they are talking cats. But in this story in particular, I decided to omit the talking cats, but kind of sneak them in the dedication. So she dedicated, she's not willing to stay. She's not on contract. She has dedicated it to Pumpkin and Ludwig von Hairball.
Remember Ludwig?
Ludwig, yes. And fun fact about him, my husband came up with that name. So this time around, we follow the pixie Cherry to her home away from home, I'll say, to her brother's place where she happens to be pixie sitting. I'm not sure what else you'd call it with pixies. And my husband might appear or be in the background noise here. He's just coming home. So she's with them for the evening, and she is telling them a story. And throughout the story, she first has to build their interest into the story and stop for a break, because that's what you do when you're kind of sitting with young folk and have to get them ready for bed before their parents come back. And throughout the story, it builds on the point for the story with a lesson. So the graphic that was created for this story, Lost and Found, it's called, does say that there's nothing simple about any story. I believe that's how you worded it, something along those lines. And there is a lesson, and there's also a little dangling cliffhanger possibility to come in a future anthology. You never know. Whenever I decide to write more about that storyline.
Thank you, Tish. Let's have Ruan. Now, Ruan, you wrote with, you've submitted to Fae Corps for a different anthology as well. So this is your second go around with them?
No, this is her first.
Oh no, this is your first.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is our first new author in here. I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. Welcome.
She has submitted a manuscript for us to read, though, so we may see more of her.
Nice.
Not yet.
Ron, are you going to tell us about yourself here?
My least favorite subject is myself. You know, I mean, I'm a writer. I've been writing since I was a cat, as far as my mother. Creating since I was born. And I published quite a lot of poetry, but either I have my poetry head or my fiction head on. I'm currently the fiction head. Solely because Hattie was confident about the fall, and I thought, oh, this one will fit, and it did. I was very happy it accepted Readline Life. And as I said, the story of it was always intended to be novel. It reminded me of that, because I wrote this like 20 years ago. Ridiculous, because that's how it goes, isn't it, with life? And so I'm digging that up again. So, enough about me. So I write a lot, and I live my life, and do all the things everybody else has to do, which interrupts the writing life sometimes.
What in the hell?
I wrote a story once about a cat called
We're live. You never know what's going to happen.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Sin is having some technical difficulties here, so she's going to. We'll get her in. We'll get her in properly. Raz, your turn.
All right. I am Raz T. Slasher. Done a lot of different projects over the years, but this is actually one of my favorites. It's the second time that I've gotten to work with Fae Corps. Like, super excited about it. I love my last experience. Actually had 2 stories in the last volumes I did with you guys. Just loved it. The one I did in this one was called The Boy in the Closet. This is an interesting little story about a girl named Evie McKetchin and her family. Originally, I was given sort of a challenge by a friend of mine to take a character that was completely blind and have her be the main character in a short story. It works really well in film. It's easy to do, but in a story, it's different because, you know, that's one of your senses you completely cannot describe from her perspective on what's happening. So this is sort of an idea I had kicking around for a while. And then when I saw, like, so I always considered an anthology a challenge, you know, because you get your subject, you get what's going on, you know what you have to write it in, and you just grab it and you do it. So I took this character and inserted it, and I thought, and I'm a huge fan of the Fae world, especially the Unseelie Fae. That's sort of my favorite subject. And red caps are one of my favorite things ever. And if you know anything about red caps, they like to hang out in castles. They get you when you least expect it. I thought modern day castle apartment complex. So that's sort of how that all winded together. And I just really wanted a nasty red cap to take away these kids and have this whole mythology behind it. And it's actually part of something larger I'd like to write later on, where there are different Unseelie Fae in this apartment complex, sort of in different rooms. And it's inspired by the original movie Troll. It's old school 80s fantasy horror movie. In fact, Troll 2 is known to be the worst horror film ever made of all time. There's a documentary about it. But the first one was awesome. And the cool thing about the first one is actually where the name Harry Potter came from. Harry Potter the Wizard came from that horror movie in the 80s. And J.K. Rowling paid a lot of money to the creator of that to get that name. It's a weird little fun fact about fiction for you. But that's the purpose of my story.
Awesome. I'm still trying to get send together. Patty, you want to do some talking here?
Well, first off, why don't we do the drawing? We put in three games. Let's do the drawing. That'll make things a little easier. Get that out of the way.
Wait, we're doing introductions now, lady. You're supposed to be introducing yourself, not drawing anything.
Darn. Well,
sneaky man, you got to talk twice. You can't do it once. It's twice. The first time is the introduction. The second time you can do the thing. Anything else is optional, but you are obligated to two. This is the intro time. Thank you very much.
Why are you? Oh my God!
See your office. See your office.
I love your keyboard.
Thanks.
Well, I am half of the original Fae Corps idea. Me and Sin, we decided we were going to do an inclusive company. We wanted to be able to include everybody, regardless of who they like. It shouldn't be about who you know. It should be more about your writing than anything. Mm-hmm. And so we got together a group of people who wanted to do an anthology, and did not want
finally.
Hey, we got her. Didn't want to be a part of a clique. It wasn't about who you knew. It was about your writing.
Finally,
what you wanted. So we did that with Under the Mist, and then we kept doing it, and well, that's where we're at. Is that a good introduction?
Yeah. So talk about your work. Hello.
My work. Well, in this anthology, I put a couple pieces of my art because we like to try and break things up so it's not just stories. We want it to be something that the reader can be fully entertained by. So we like taking in parts that are art, poetry, and story to try and make it feel more like a all-round entertaining book. And I put some of my art in there. I think I might have a poem in there. I'm not sure. I have to look. I don't know.
Don't feel bad. I had to ask you what the name of my story was before we started.
It's been it has been an interesting few months. The winter and spring have been slightly better than what 2020 was. 2020 was just an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
All the way around for so many different things. So it's understandable that you don't remember.
Well,
I don't remember half the time.
I did the putting together of the files and editing and such for this, and honestly, since then I have had 2 other books that I have edited and another book that I myself wrote and put together. And so remembering what all was in this book would have been better done like 2 months ago. This is about when I was dealing with the files on this.
Yeah, I mostly remember because I've been posting the stories and everything. I know we've got Serena Musgraves in, we've got Raz, we've got Bonnie Winslow, Chris, who I don't know if we're going to see today. I haven't heard from her. And then we've got myself and Tish and Raz. It's a much smaller group of authors for this anthology than our previous ones.
Well, and we're taking submissions right now for Into the Glen, and we've already got enough to where I'm questioning whether we're going to be doing 2 books for that one. There's just so many good stories that have been submitted and poems and such. So it's one of those things that I'm hoping that we've got enough to make not only a good book, but maybe possibly 2 good ones. We learned our lesson with Nightmare Whispers. We did 4.
We did.
And we are never doing that again.
No, that's never happening now. No. that was Nightmare.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
so what you're saying is the pressure
Patty?
is on.
Patty, can you tell my niece I got her message and
She's
not
actually
to message me while I'm on. I know she is. Tell her not to message me while I'm on live chat about live chat.
She's doing the same thing to me. She's telling me how dorky I look.
No, she told me that she liked how my keyboard looked.
Oh.
So you do not have a poem, Patty, in this, according to what I have for the graphics here.
Oh, yeah.
Poems by Sin and Bonnie.
No, she didn't. It was me and Bonnie.
Oh, no. Yeah. That's right. Sin and Bonnie had poems. Patty, you didn't have anything. Serena and Raz and Ron.
Serena did.
And, yeah. And Tish and I and Bonnie as well have stories. And then me and Bonnie and Patty have art. So, Patty, you've only got art in here.
Yes. I
Basically.
wasn't sure because my brain's been all over the place. So
Yeah, definitely.
thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Who remember? Hey, Sin, you want to introduce yourself?
I suppose.
I'm so thrilled about it.
Sorry, I'm
so
just
excited.
I was excited until my, camera decided that it didn't want to, participate in this.
But that means
my
you're
phone
going to do something
doesn't.
important because you had tech issues. Let's go.
If you say so. I am Cindy Snow Pilcher, also known as Lily. But in this book, I used my normal name, my birth name, because that's who does all the writing about fairies and, the light and the fun and the, the poetry and such like that. I had 2 poems.
Yes.
In this one, I think. I know one of them was named Playful Fairies, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the other one.
Something about a lullaby.
Oh, yeah, maybe Fairy's Lullaby or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyway, so, yeah, I have been bouncing around because 2020 wasn't that bad for me. It's been 2021 that has been a roller coaster for me because we'll just say I'm having womanly health issues. On top of I had COVID this year. I spent an entire year not getting it and got it this year. So yeah, that kind of threw me off. And then I've been my brain has been bouncing around trying to do writing. So I was like, there's no way I was going to get full story written for this. So I was like, you know what? I have a couple poems in my head. Let's just put those in there. So, because I was going to work on my steampunk story, and then my brain quit. It said, nope, that's not what we're working on. My muse has been all over the place. I'm beginning to think that she has COVID because I don't know what's going on with her. Because first it was the fairies, then it was the steampunk, and now it's the rewrite of A Royal's Undoing. Because those of you that have heard of it and have read it, I know you said it was good, but I know y'all are lying. Because even I wasn't even I'm not even happy with it. So hence the rewrite. So I'm busy.
That just means that you're improving. It was good to start with. Improving things is always possible.
Well, no, I am improving, and the story is coming along a lot better. Those that commented on next time you want to mute that, darling.
Sorry, I know that.
Like, if you're not going to show us, you should mute it too.
She blacked out the cam and everything. Like the camera went away, but the audio was
right. It's like just went crazy.
I thought I did it, Bo. Sorry about that, guys. My allergies on the.
The camera just went poof, and then all of a sudden we hear.
That was just her way of disagreeing with what you were saying at the time.
I guess.
Sorry.
It's fine.
You saw how I'm operating on all gears here today.
Yeah, it shows that we're all operating on full gears. I mean, one of us was in the hospital. The other one is having cold issues. I'm having camera issues. Tish hasn't exactly had. Yeah, and she hasn't exactly had the best couple of weeks. Ruann, have you had any issues?
Always, but I'm not telling you.
So, oh my goodness, back to what Sin was talking about.
It isn't one of our launch parties if there's not issues.
Exactly.
Yeah. But to kind of steer back for a moment.
I think that's why I gave up on doing the whole long list of schedule, with scheduling everything from down to the minute, because it just the live stream starts and then it all goes out the window. So it's kind of like, oh well, all right, we're here. We're just gonna do this. So this time I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk to everybody. I'll just talk.
Yep,
it'll be great.
It's probably just better this way anyway.
Yeah.
So, Tish, what were you saying?
To go back to what you were saying about doing a rewrite, another draft. We have another four-legged star.
Yes, we do. Here, come here. Say hi, everybody. Look, no, stop. Stop. No, I put lipstick on, so she's trying to lick it. Come here. Come on. Say hello to everybody. So, no, this is the first time I've ever worn lipstick since we've had her, and we've had her for, since
almost
July. So almost a year. Almost a year. It'll be a year in July. But almost a year. But yeah. So, but yes, I'm doing a rewrite, Tish.
Yeah, and what I was thinking is that's kind of the journey I've been going on while I've been helping my cousin with her book. I know we're all tired of hearing about that all the time, but it's finally getting close to being done. And
no, we're not tired of hearing of it, Tish, because it's what you're working on, and we want you to talk to us about it. We want you to come to us if you're having issues.
I'm invested now. This is my soap opera. I
know.
Get popcorn.
I don't talk a lot.
I need to know what happens next.
I don't talk a lot. I'm always reading it. And
Seriously.
I actually learned a couple things.
No, really.
Some questions you've asked.
So what's happening on the next episode?
So,
yep, exactly.
My cousin wrote with one finger. She typed it on her keyboard, and I volunteered to help her publish her book. Once I finished editing her rough draft and turned it into a manuscript, Her mom then looked at it with her stepdad. I don't know if that's his official title, but her mom's partner, let's say. And when they looked at it, they revised some. And, people are saying, in the background, well, that might not be fair because it's Alicia's book, but they're not taking away from her original story. And it's my job to blend them together. So it's enhancing her original story. And I'm going to be so proud of it when it's done, because the missing parts that were in from her memory, her mom's filled in the gaps. So it's going to be a complete story. And I think it's going to be a much better read when I'm done. So.
Right. And that's the job of the editor.
Yeah.
Patty has read every version and every bit that I have written for A Royal's Undoing. Every bit of it. She has read both, all 3 beginnings that I've done, 4 now. She's the poor thing is going to get sick of this book because she knows, just as much about these characters as I do. So, but
it does feel like my 15th time through it.
If anybody likes ginger beer, this is a really great one.
What is it?
It's ginger beer. It's really great. Yeah, it is a really great one. Good. Continue. Sorry.
But yeah,
be a little on the crazy side, but the books that we put out, the books that we sponsor, are all gone over with a fine-tooth comb by not just me, by KT goes through them, Cindy goes through them. We make the authors go through them because we want these books to be good. We don't want to put these books out and there not be something good to read in them. Or
exactly
mistakes. Because that's
why
on us either.
Right, and that's why it takes us so long to get through the editing, because of the fact that we want to make sure that we have caught everything. So
that other publishers do take twice, maybe 3 times as long as we do to get a book out.
Oh yeah.
They give themselves way more time than we give ourselves. So pat yourself on the back there, guys.
Yeah.
Just a
we're doing so fast. So fast.
Which is why we have 3 of us
aren't all involved in it, because there's less eyes looking at it to get it out to the public. Is that why? Maybe.
Probably. Because they probably own.
Not.
Oh no.
No, that's not it. No. They have the same process that we have, but they spread things out more. They give themselves more time for them so that there's less of the revision process at the end.
This is my
we condense everything. The thing is that it is possible to do an anthology from start to finish in 4 months. We've proven that several times now.
Yeah.
But you have to be very organized. You have to be a very tight-knit team, and you have to have the cooperation of the authors. And I think that's one of the things that makes Fae Corps such a great publishing house, even though you guys are so super new, is the fact that at every step of the way, the authors know what's going on. They have a say, they have a voice, and they're a part of the process. So that when you get to the point where it's going to be published and it's going to be out there, there is 0 budget, but everything that we can put in that doesn't cost a lot of money is done.
Exactly. And
it's been a weird experience, because this is the 4th indie company that I've worked with in a little over 5 years now, and I went from a company that just started, that had all these promises, that overreached and crashed and burned in 8 months. Another company that had been around for 3 or 4 years that again overreached, crashed and burned. The last company I was with had been around for well over 10 years and were huge, like a big respected company, and it took them almost 4 years, no, 3 years to tell me that they just couldn't put my book out after all because they overreached. They took in too many authors. They took too much work on, and then they've got like 50 editors that aren't, not really 50, but editors that aren't, they don't speak to each other. They don't kind of tell each other what's going on. And that's the difference here. Like, you guys know what you're doing. You take on projects at a time. You schedule them. You don't try and take on like 50, 60, 70 authors because you can't do that. And because of that, we get a much more personalized experience. We get to feel way better about what we're putting out there, way happier with our experience. And we have the option to put up multiple things a year, which, like you said, that's why it's not possible. You guys stick with that group. You work with new people, but you're smart about it. You think about all that. And that means the world to me personally. And that's why I love being here so much.
Well, we
love
appreciate
having
hearing that. And,
one of the great
that's
things
the whole...
I want to insert before anybody says anything else. Raz has a book coming out, his first solo work with our people at the end of this year. So,
and you guys were talking about
October.
revising your books and everything. This is actually the first book I put out 5 years ago in my first company, and never really saw what I wanted to see out of it with anything. And I've actually been rewriting it for years now. So this is like a big deal for me to like restart my entire life as a solo author, and it's part of a trilogy, and like actually I might have accidentally already almost finished the second one too. But we'll deal with that later.
Well, we're looking forward to publishing this for you, and we're glad that you have stuck with us. We love hearing from the authors that we're doing the job that we started out doing, because this is the whole point. Because as a couple of you know, we started off with a group that treated us poorly because we were not part of the group. We weren't in the clique, so we were constantly getting pushed off, oh, your story's not good enough. Your poem's not good enough. Oh, this doesn't fit here, but you can always, try again. And it's just like, but everybody that they were close to got into the anthology or or got published or whatever, regardless of what the shape the book was in, and so Patty and I were like, what, that's it, we're done, we're making our own company, we're going to do this one way or another, and I'm not going to lie to you, the two of us were nervous when we first started, when we first were doing our first book. I'm going to tell you flat out, we were lost. We were learning hardcore right off that first book. Thanks, Tish.
I do love that mug. That's awesome.
that is the best mug. That is the best mug.
We love all of our authors. Of course, I'm not going to lie, we're going to love the authors that have been with us since the beginning a little bit more. But we love all of our authors. We treat all of our authors the same way. Tish has been with us since the beginning. She just froze too. Oh, there she goes. Yep, she has been with us from the beginning. She was like, oh, you're doing an anthology, I want in. And she's been with us since then. So, and I hope that, one day we can publish a book that's just yours or you. Awesome. We would really love that. I think you should put like all of your stories, all your kitty stories should all be put in like one book for us to publish.
Maybe we can take the stories.
Compilation anthology, a short story anthology. That's Justice with Weber. Kind of like what we did with Bonnie. Beneath Raven's Wings. Anybody pick that up? Sales plug.
I do not have it yet, but I don't have the money. So, but I will be getting, I try to make sure that I get a copy of every anthology that we do once I'm, able to. So, Patty and I kind of help each other out and go, oh, do you need a copy? And, we'll get a copy for the other one. So, but this is what this company is all about.
It's an awesome cover.
Beautiful. So something that came to mind is I had actually very few rejections because I'm so into working on my own indie stuff. I don't often submit to different publishing companies, and recently I had submitted one and it was rejected. But the feedback I got from that rejection is taking me further with that story. They looked for more character development and they wanted to know why things happened. So to me, that in itself, that feedback was very useful because it's now going to be my first fantasy trilogy when I get around to that part of my writing career. That's something I've been setting as a goal for myself. And to know that I have the basis of it. And I did write them back to say, thank you for your feedback. And everything that you said tells me that I need to develop this more and turn it into something bigger than a story in an anthology. So it doesn't always mean you have to toss it if someone says no.
Exactly. Now, I haven't taken that leap to, try and give my stories to, somebody other than us. So it's just been, I don't quite have that braveness yet. What about over there, Miss Sickly?
I'm watching your pupper just give you kisses every time she walks by. I love her so much.
Just, yeah, well,
y'all
I
don't
don't
understand
have
about this dog. This dog, we've had send pictures of her. Last year when my pup was so sick and before he passed on, she would send pictures just so that I would feel a little bit better because I was just feeling so bad. And, just seeing a pup that was love and sweet and happy and cute, it made me feel so much better. So every time she comes into the screen, I'm like,
she's just all, and she's
my doggo too.
She's kind of everybody's doggo because she's been in every live chat we've had. So
she really has been in all of our lives. She's like Lord Vader at this point. We have her and we have Lord Vader.
Right, and and Boots has been in one. I think he was in Through the Sunshine. I think when we did that live chat, I think he was in that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I was back in the craft room, so I was on his table, so he had to, be all up in the way. But my kids are grown, so these are my kids.
Yeah, same. Yeah, so when we lost our doggo, when we lost Taco, it was so rough. And now we've got Dobby, and Dobby's our new baby, and he knows it.
He's so cute. He's so adorable.
Yeah.
What are you doing,
Dobby? He knows he knows that he can get away with pretty much everything and everyone.
I love that name. I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Jazzy's made her appearance already, Sin. You missed her.
Good Lord. Don't mind my poking my screen. My husband messaged me, and it's just like, really? It's like, that we're doing. It's like you know that we're doing a launch tonight. It's like, seriously. He sent me a really cute dress though that I would love to have. So I guess that makes up for it.
That's the best partners. The ones that
for the next launch party.
Yeah, the next one is for Heather, right? Heather.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
Heather's
Shara.
is the next.
Oh yeah. How do you pronounce her?
Shira.
It's Ashira.
Ashira. I have problems with her pen name. I can read it. I just can't pronounce it.
It's Ashira Datya.
Datya.
It's kind of like a Eastern Europe kind of Russian kind of
it's
thing.
a pretty name. It's a really
Yeah, I
pretty-
love it. When she first came, when she first started working with her pen name, I was like, oh my God, your pen name is so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel super unimaginative with mine. Your initials.
Do you know
just
where mine
created
came
the married
from?
name that my husband would agree to.
Mine is my mother's maiden name and the shortening of my great grandmother's name, because her name was Liliana.
Oh.
So, well, and it also helps that Liliana is one of the main characters in A Royal's Undoing. So, there's that too. But
Oh, that's awesome.
and
I've
lilies
had-
are
okay, so-
some of my favorite flowers.
So it's been like 40 minutes now. Let's do the giveaway, and then let's have somebody read a little something. Yeah?
Sounds like
That
a
sound
plan.
good?
Sounds good.
That sound good?
Okay, well, it won't be me, because there is no way I'm going to try and pull up my poem after all the camera issues I had. So sorry, guys.
I think Raz said he's going to read. I will read a little bit from.
Yay,
I'll let you
Raz.
guys choose which one. And then Tish, are you going to read? Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is that?
I have a
She's
section.
going to
Yep.
do the giveaway stuff.
Yeah.
Ruan, are you going to read a
Okay.
little bit?
This is all the names of the people who responded to the posts that went into the party room,
Mm-hmm.
the comments. We got all of your names. Now let's pick one.
What?
And I mixed them all up, so.
Oh, are
this
you
one-
joining? Come here.
Christine,
Thank you, Dante. Hugs back.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but Christine,
Christine Heckler.
yep,
Hacker? Oh, yeah. I know
Heckler.
Christine. Yep. Yeah. No, I don't.
Yay!
I'll have to tag her.
Yay!
She gets
Yay!
one of the Fae Corps ebooks.
Yay, Christine!
Nice.
Woohoo!
We didn't have a drum roll or anything before that. You just went,
There, late general.
done.
What?
I didn't think about doing a drum roll,
What do you want? What do you want?
but we'll tag her in
You're
the
gonna have to wait.
party room so that she knows she won, and she'll get to pick out one of the
Yeah.
ebooks that we put out. So
Yep. Congratulations, Christine! Woohoo!
All right. So, who
No,
wants to go
You
first
get
on
it when I'm
reading?
done.
How much do you want me to
Get
read
it
of
when
it?
I'm done.
Because we're at 43 minutes, and we've got what do you call it? 3 other people that are going to read. I would say read for 5 minutes.
Okay.
However much that is.
All right.
Now watch the clock.
I'll do my best. All right.
Well, how about everybody just read like those, because those of you that are reading have stories, right?
Yeah.
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 So maybe
the first paragraph.
3 or 4, like 2 paragraphs. That should
Yeah.
be.
First 500 words.
There you go.
First
There we
500
go. That could
words.
work. Hold on a minute. Let me select the words.
Yeah,
I know
and
how many of the first 500 are.
I was just gonna say, it's like, how are you gonna? That's why I said about 2 paragraphs. That way maybe 3.
That's okay. That's about the first page for me. Okay, cool. All right. This is
Okay.
well, this
All
is
right, I'm
the-
going to give him the full stage. Here we go. Single layout. Boom.
This is the opening to The Boy in the Closet. It was a day that many families across America had a lot of experience with at one time or another. Moving day. Mike McKetchin and his family had been going through rough times. About a year ago, Mike's wife Heather was driving their daughter Evie home from a late-night football game, while he and his 2 boys, Joe and Eric, stayed home to get a start on their preseason horror marathon. Evie had been a cheerleader all throughout junior high, and it was her first game on the freshman squad. It was around 10 p.m. on a Friday evening in late September. Their team had won, and excitement was paramount. The impact was sudden, and the sounds of screeching tires and crumpling metal echoed along the dark stretch of highway. The windshield burst inwards, sending glass into both of their faces. Heather blacked out, waking to a bright light shining directly into her eyes. In a panic, she turned to see her daughter was no longer in the car next to her. Everything else was a blur. It turned out they'd been hit by a drunk driver. While Heather had only suffered a few broken ribs and some minor lacerations, Evie had not been so lucky. She'd broken her collarbone, fractured her right arm, and suffered traumatic retinal detachment in both eyes. The doctors did everything they could, but after multiple surgeries, she found no salvation. Within just a few weeks, Evie lost her vision forever. Those first 6 months were the worst. Evie stopped talking and spent most of her time crying in her room. In her mind, her life was over. Just getting her to eat was a constant struggle. Heather quit her job to stay at home and take care of her. Mike picked up every extra shift he could, generally keeping him away from home most of the time. The boys helped whenever possible, but at 12 and 16, they could only do so much. With a lack of decent insurance, the surgeries and therapy alone virtually wiped out their bank account. No matter what Mike did, after a while, he just couldn't make ends meet. Over time, Evie slowly became more involved with her family. Joe and Eric took turns reading books to her, and generally making her laugh to help pass the time. One evening after a difficult double shift, Mike came home and called a family meeting, something he'd been dreading. He and Heather had been discussing ways to save money, which unfortunately included selling the house. The kids took it a lot better than they expected. Heather's mother, Ruby, owned an 11-story apartment complex just on the other side of town and was more than willing to take care of them. If Mike was willing to become the building superintendent. The kids seemed happy about it for the most part, and being in the same school district made things a lot easier. It took a few months to sell the house and get everything situated. Ruby let them tear down a wall to join 2 apartments together in order to accommodate their family. Before they knew it, it was moving day. With the help of friends and family, they were able to get it all taken care of in just one weekend. It meant a lot to Mike and Heather to see so many people turn up to support them. They hadn't really had much time to visit with anyone since the accident, but that weekend made them feel like no time had passed at all. There you go, my first 500.
Awesome.
Woo! That was awesome.
Thank you.
That is such a great story. I loved editing it. I had to remember I was editing when I was reading it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was one of those. That was one of those where I got to the end and I went, "Crap! How am I going to do a marketing blurb for this? Oh no!"
I'm a little difficult at times.
I had to read it 3 times in order to actually stop enjoying the story and actually look at it objectively and say, okay, what is the point of this? Pull it out now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you sell it.
Yeah, I tend to write with in odd ways and have weird endings where it takes you a minute to figure it all out. I'm bad about that.
All right, so let's do Ruan next. On the spot. Sorry. Because you are a new author, I didn't make you go first. There you go. But you are going second.
Yep, you got lucky. You didn't get picked to go first.
Yes.
I'm not heartless.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just going to dive in here with the first 3 paragraphs, leaving the.
I'm on it. Ron,
Yeah.
lean forward so that we get your whole voice in the mic because you keep going in and out. All right. Sorry.
Okay, is this okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. When I first saw Rose Dawn's mother, Catherine, she was rocking backwards and forwards in a dirty corner of their dingy second-floor apartment. She crooned softly and hugged herself across her chest as if nursing a baby. There was debris all over the floor. At first, I didn't see the child playing behind a pile of foul-smelling garbage. She cleared herself an area and seemed to be hiding as she drew pictures in the dust and hummed quietly. The grandmother was filthy. She stank of unwashed body and excrement, but the child seemed clean enough. See? The child pointed at her drawing. Kenneth did. It's not good enough. I regarded her drawing, prepared to make the usual affirming remarks. But what I saw made me gasp. She had no apparent access to crayons or markers or paints, so she'd spit on the dirt all around her to make a workable mud and used it to draw the outlines of her picture. Then it looked like she'd raided the scant contents of the fridge, and leavings of the floor to fill it in. The result was truly striking. Really a work of art. Garbage art, if you will. If only it were on a canvas, I could have kept it and made a fortune if the child became famous. As for the content, scary, no doubt, but totally fascinating. A caged bird, its black wings flapping frantically, its panicked eye accusing, its dangerous beak making appeal as well as threat. It was bleeding, yet the oozing blood seemed to signify life, not death, as if the bird's blood were its way to freedom. The child genius looked at me. She appeared curious and knowing, anxious and belligerent, youthful and ancient. Trying to remain professional, I put my hand under her chin and knelt down so our eyes could meet. "You're very good, Kenneth," I said. "Your picture is very interesting. Tell me about it." "It's a secret." She put her hands to her ears and hunched up her shoulders as if expecting a blow. And I'll leave it there.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay,
Awesome.
can I tell you that of the stories that we had in the anthology, yours was the one that gave me nightmares.
But that's a good sign if that's what she was, if you were going for the, let's scare the crap out of people.
Her descriptions are so great, and she pulls you right in. So when you get to the end, you're like, "Oh, that's horrible. Oh God."
So awesome.
That is awesome.
I'm looking forward to reading
She
it.
reminds me. You remind me of Raz that way, because with Raz, I know now because I know Raz's works.
Right.
I'm like,
You
read
expect
this in
that
the morning.
from Raz.
Ron, you took me completely by surprise, because I was like, "Oh yes, yeah, look at her style." And wait, what? Oh no! Oh
So
no!
good.
All right, let's have a little bit of sweetness and light here from Tish. Come on, Tish.
Yeah, I tried to do the stories in order of sweetest to darkest. Red being the darkest.
Oh, in the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how we decided to put it, because we were like, when Patty started doing everything and we're going over the stories and stuff, she's like, "How in the world are we going to put these in the book?" I said, "Well, why don't we just go from light to dark? That just makes sense, And she's like, "That's a good idea."
Yeah.
Get everybody going, "Oh, these are so sweet, these are so lighthearted, and then bam, smack them with the darkness.
Well, not all children are sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hashtag red story. Hashtag boy in the closet. Okay,
Right?
Tish.
Stop. In a couple minutes.
So I'm reading from my story, Lost and Found. "Tell us another story, Aunt Cherry," Slate insisted. "Please?" Myra was using those adorable baby blues to her advantage. "One more story, then. It's bedtime, kiddos." Cherry relished telling stories to her niece and nephew. She never turned down a chance to babysit for Barry, her fraternal twins' children, unless she had to work. Tonight she was off. and spending time with her 2 favorite pixies. Do not tell your father about this story, okay? It has a lesson in it we both learned when we were about your age. Cherry tried to look stern while delivering her warning, but she knew that the little ones kept no secrets. Oh, lesson? We aren't in school. It's Saturday night. Slate frowned up at his aunt. Most stories worth telling have a lesson in them. Some are obvious, and others make you think about what the lesson is. I will let you decide which one this is after I finish. Cherry reached out to each of the children with her hands, sticking her little finger out to them. Pixie Pinky swear? Their faces took on a serious squint as they each stuck out a pinky finger to their aunt to seal the deal. A pixie pinky swear was never meant to be broken, at least not outside of the pixie society. Cherry knew for a fact the story she was about to share might leave an impact on her niece and nephew. But it was time. They were of an age to become increasingly curious, which was normal as long as it didn't get them into too much trouble. Stories like the one she was about to share needed to be told before history repeated itself. It might have a different ending in another time and place. Let's settle in then. A story this important requires you both to pay very close attention. Once I start, there will be no interruptions allowed. Understood? Their aunt turned her head to one side as she released their fingers. Well, what if I need to go? Myra furrowed her eyebrows with concern. Well, as you already reminded me that we are not in school, I guess I can make an exception. For a quick break if you need it. Cherry smirked. The 3 of them giggled for a moment as they got comfortable. Cherry took a deep breath before beginning. She secretly hoped that her timing was right for this. Her brother might end up being furious with her if she had guessed wrong. Once upon a sparkle, not so long ago, your father and I were about the same age as you are now when we began venturing farther from home on sunny days. Just like today. We would play tag or hide and seek as far away from home as we dared to go. One day, we found ourselves outside of the forest. 4 eyes were suddenly glued to Cherry's face. The children knew, as all Fae children do, that they should never stray outside of the safety of the forest. The human realm was not safe for Fae, and especially not for Fae children, who were at risk of disappearing to never be seen again if they wandered too far from the trees. And that's where I'll stop. As long as it didn't get them into too much trouble. Especially not for Fae children, who were at risk of disappearing to never be seen again if they wandered too far from the trees.
Oh boy,
That's where I'll stop.
Hey, all right. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I was too busy trying to share the post saying that you were reading live now to realize that you had finished reading live.
That's wonderful.
I have such a wonderful mastery of technology.
Don't we all?
Okay, so we're almost at the end, but I think we're going to go a little bit over because I am going to read a little bit from one of the 2 stories that I have in this. So most of y'all don't know that I do stories and I do art, and both are in this anthology. So if you've never seen anything painted or drawn by yours truly, this is the book to pick up. Okay?
The art.
Sales pitch. Sales pitch.
Sales pitch.
There we go.
Buy our book. Buy our book. And you can tell that there are some really great. There's a really great range of stories going into here for the anthology, and we really did go from sweet. We really did go from sweet and light to, oh no, that baby, that baby.
Yes.
Once I can actually say Serena's addition to this book was not as dark as some of the others.
Yeah.
Usually Serena's is darker than most.
Serena was Serena's was right in the middle.
It's kind of in the middle there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Serena was right in the middle. I think Angel borderline sweet, and then Blue was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder what would happen if I actually sent you guys something pleasant for a change.
I don't think we'd recognize it.
I don't think you would.
They would look for the catch and the twist. They would try to find it hidden in there somewhere.
But maybe it would be at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a little background for my story before I read it. So, as a result of working with Fae Corps, I actually now have a fairy world. I did not have a fairy world before because I am a sci-fi author. I write science fiction, mainly cyberpunk. So you can tell that fairies is a very big departure for me. Tish is the one that got me.
Technically, though, you could have fairies in your cyberpunk world because fairies do not have to be little happy flitting about, in the woods and forests.
I think we've all proven that quite well. They do not have.
But
no, definitely.
Right, but that's I'm just saying is that you could totally.
No, it was Deidre. It wasn't Tish. It was both of you all told me. I think I might have been Deidre, not Tish. That told me to come and submit to Fae Corps for the anthology Through the Sunshine. And it really challenged me because I was like, how do I write?
I think it was.
How do I like fairies? And I was like, well, if I'm going to write fairies, then it's going to be fairy horror. because I don't do sweetness and light.
Right.
So I know I just look like such a sweet and light person, don't I?
Totally. Out of the three of us, guess who does all the sweetness and light more than the other two? I wonder.
Yeah, it ain't me. So,
it certainly is not Patty or Serena.
No, it's not. Sin gets all the sweet.
Although you have to be proud. You have to be proud of me because both of my poems, especially the Playful Fairies, was not as sweet as you think it is.
Yeah, it was
you see
not.
the title and you're like, oh,
so
this is going to be, this is going to be nice, and it's like, no.
It fit right nicely in the middle of the book, I should say.
Yeah,
it was like almost like you planned it that way. Almost like you planned it. Right?
Maybe.
Planned it. Okay. So, anyways, I had this fairy world because of Fae Corps. Fae Corps was the genesis of this fairy world, and so now I have this whole group of wonderful fairies.
You're welcome.
And that will eventually become a book or two. I don't know, but I am having a lot of fun exploring the different types of fae within the world, and so this type of fae is actually the water fae, the Mundau, which is my take on the mermaids.
Cool.
Right? Okay, so Angel, the first story in this anthology by me, is about.
Oh, it's pretty.
A little fairy, a little Mundau pup, basically a little girl who is a fae, and then Blue is about her as well, but when she's a little bit older, when she's a teenager. Okay, so there's your setup, and I'm about to read the first 500 words of Blue.
The fun part about it is she got the name for her character from my daughter.
That's right. I totally
Yep.
did. All right, here we go. Oh Lord, I am not up to reading today. Woo.
Don't
This is gonna be
read.
interesting, y'all. Sorry, this is gonna be interesting, y'all. All right, here we go. I know all this build up is gonna be horrible. No. All right. Thank goodness y'all are used to me and how I am. All right, y'all didn't expect anything other than this. This is why I'm going last, okay? Because you put Miss Hot Mess at the end. Put the hot mess at the end. Everybody else can be awesome. And then it's like, all right, yeah, everybody has gone off. All right, here we go. Whew. All right. So this is an excerpt from Blue. A kilometer out and 40 meters below the western coast of South America, a ribbon of lush forest. Hold on. I'm muting, folks, because I can't hear myself. Is everybody muted? Everyone is muted. It's just me. Let's try again. All right. A kilometer out and 40 meters below the western coast of South America, a ribbon of lush kelp forest runs along the rocky shores from the southernmost tip of the continent up to the north. If you were to look at it from above, or on the maps created by those who study such things, the area would be delineated by a thick green line just off the edge of the landmass. In reality, the forest is mostly red and brown and green tops because kelp loses its color the way it gets from the sunlight. For as long as anyone could remember, these forests grew thick and true beneath the warm, clear waters south of the equator. There's a kind of comfort in this, the presence of something so old and lovely living beneath the waves. The underwater landscape is strikingly beautiful and quite like the land above. The sand and rocks of the beach give way to a plain of soft green seagrass that spreads out and blooms all the way up to the edge of the forest, just like on land. A darker hued twin under the water instead of open air. Down there, in the silence of the deep, the storms and ever-encroaching march of humanity cease to matter. For the oceans are the realm of the mother beneath the waters. And out of sight of humanity, shrouded in the magics of the seas, the mother's children, the Munda'au, wait and watch. For it is not just humanity that poses a danger to these forests. There are other beings who would steal the life from the weeds. From the time she was a babe, Blue's mother sang of her, of the call of the waters and the charge of her people to protect the waves. Unlike her pod sisters, Blue was not birthed in Kinholm, the village caves beneath the oceans that housed most of her kind. Her sire was she, a pure-blood Miss Fae, prince of the Spring Mother's court. Her dam, a Munda'au scientist, who'd been chosen to travel the waves to entreat the Miss Mother for assistance with the damage the climate storms had wrought on the coral reefs. Their joining had caused an uproar, for the she's magics were different, and they could not leave beneath the waves. Thus, her dam had to leave her home. The loss of a Munda'au maid of such renown had been a blow to the tribe. It was only the promise that any young she birthed would return to the waters of her pod that soothed the sting of her leaving. So, at the time of her daughter's second change, they'd sent her to live there. Blue's assimilation had been difficult, but those days were behind her. Now she was podkeeper and had a trio of pups to train. Every day she chauffeured them against the plains of the northernmost forest. Like her charges, she'd once been led to the forest edge and taught to watch for the horals in the reef, for the horal was a sign of an interloper, and a reason the patrols existed. All right, so there you go. 500 words of Blue. started. And we're only 9 minutes over. If you want to know what happens at the end of any of the beginnings of 4 stories that you have heard, but Tisha's story, Radha's story, Ron's story, or my story, then you will have to purchase yourself a copy of Faery Playground, because that's the only way to read it. That's the only way to read it. And it is available wherever ebooks are sold. And if you want a physical copy, because you have room for stuff like that, look at that pupper. Sorry, I got distracted.
She was saying yay
Yeah,
too.
what was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot. I saw puppy. Oh, if you have room for a physical copy, go on over to Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is the only place to get physical copies of our book.
Not true. We do have it on Amazon.
Oh, yay! Okay, I lied.
Yay!
Wait, I didn't lie. I did not have all of the facts. So now I have all of the facts.
Just a minute.
And I can tell you that if you want a physical copy of the book, you can go to both Barnes & Noble and Amazon. That's two places for the same money. Ha ha ha. There you
And
go.
we also have large print edition out. So
Woohoo.
if you need it in large print, you can get it.
Yay!
Which is awesome because we strive at Fae Corps to be very, very, very inclusive. I don't know if you guys understand how big a deal it is to be able to put out both a regular version and a large print version for people with low vision, because people with low vision actually do like to still read. It's a thing.
Exactly.
And
It's a thing.
it really is a thing that, you know what, people who can read will read, and making it easier for them to read is so wonderful. So wonderful,
I'm working on getting the setup done to do audiobooks, and as soon as I do, we will also be including audiobooks in our catalog. It's just going to take me a little bit of time to get things set up.
Yeah, audiobooks. That is the next step for Fae Corps Inc. And watch out for it. I hope that you guys will stick around for that. We have got 5 more authors that are publishing. 5? No, wait, maybe 6 actually. Hold on.
There's a Shearer's coming out in the end of May. Then there's J. Hall Carpenter, Beulah Vega, Raz. Serena's got something coming out in like 4 days.
And Denise. So that's actually 7. That's actually 7 single author works that are coming up between now and the end of the year. And then we have 2 more anthologies, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Into the Glen. Into the Glen
And Fae Shivers.
Fae Shivers. Yeah.
It's coming out the same time as Raz's book. So
yeah.
That's
remember what we're doing is that Raz's is coming out. His launch week is the week of Halloween. And then the week for Fae Shivers will be the first week or the second week in November, I think is what we decided, because we didn't want to have them coming out at the same time, because we did not want to take away from Raz.
That's right.
There's the possibility of me, KT, or Cindy putting out other books this year as well. We tend to try and the members of Fae Corps, ours are getting squeezed in wherever we can do it.
Mine, I think we settled, since I'm redoing the whole thing and I'm really working hard on it and such, I think we decided that we're going to wait, and mine's not going to come out until like December, it's in the middle of our vacation, because we have decided that after the anthology comes out, we are on vacation until February.
Right.
Because after last year, we were like, there's no way. It's like we have to have time off because we've got family stuff to do.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we'll actually be able to see and spend a lot more time with family by that time this year.
I hope everybody's out there getting their Fauci ouchie like I did today. So that
I have not gotten
life
mine
can
yet
go-
because I have to get my husband signed up with the VA. I have to get him into the system. And he has been working his behind off. Last week he worked 8 days in a row. And this
It's
week
only
he
7
has
days anyway.
Yeah, well, that's it. Felt like it was 8 days. Well, see, for them,
because I want them to monitor me.
Right.
because for them, his week goes from Saturday to Friday, and he worked from, what was it? I think it was like Thursday to Friday.
So he had 8 days straight with no
So
break.
he worked 8 days straight. And now
Yeah.
now his gout is flaring. So the less he's on it when he's
just
not
a
at
little
work.
bit to wrap things up. Everybody that can get a copy of the book, get a copy of the book. It's going on sale today, live. No more pre-orders. It's live. Go ahead and get yourself a copy of Fae Corps Faery Playground. Everybody that can
Let
get
us know
yourself
if you want.
everybody that can get the shot, because there are people out there like my sister and others that cannot get the shot. And so you getting the shot make it so that they can actually be safe and won't die from this virus.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
And don't forget, if you want signed copies, to message us, and we will get you those taken care of.
Yes.
Yes, right. Signed copies are a thing that can happen. Mailing back, it works. We can do this for you. We appreciate each and every one of you that tune in, and everybody who is involved with Fae Corps and everybody that submits to Fae Corps. We try to be there and be present for all of our authors and all of our fans, and this is possible because of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being with us today and for supporting us and believing in us. And keep tuned, because there is more coming. We are not going anywhere, damn it. Not going anywhere. We're here. We're here to stay. And we've got new faces and we've got new blood. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Stay safe. We love you.
The link's going to be below on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on another platform,
that's right. Share,
Yes.
like, comment, share, because that's how we get visibility with Facebook. You know how their logarithms work,
Especially on YouTube, please like, because the algorithms on YouTube suck. So you need
oh my
to
gosh, do they suck?
Like it. You like the video. Every time we pop a video up there, like it. Share it with your friends. Get them to like it, because then we can be seen more. Then we can get more authors to come and send their work in. And if you, just so y'all know, if you are not able to be put in an anthology, or we have to wait till next year to do a book for you, we can always put something small of yours or link to you in our newsletter. So just remember that.
Anthology that is nothing but the best of the newsletter from 2021. So
yeah, we forgot about that. I forgot to announce that.
Yep, we're gonna have that
made
too.
The announcement. Yay! There you go. I got you to talk 3 times today.
Oh dear God.
All right.
So just remember, say the link for the book will be underneath there, and we will also put the link for the newsletter if you have not signed up for it yet.
Okay.
Intent.
All right, now goodbye. We're only 18 minutes
Now
over.
We'll be all right.
Love
Love y'all.
Love you guys.